walked out. They tried saying something, but he told me he paid them no mind and drove to the nearest gas station. He then called his old company's manager. This manager was very kind to him. I remember when I was younger, I even went to his kid's birthday party, and that was the first birthday party I had ever gone to. I didn't have any friends in the beginning due to my accent and kids being mean. Apparently, his old manager, who had moved to California himself, then came back to our home state earlier that year, had offered my dad a job when he moved back. This was at another big name car company, but I won't name which one. My dad had initially told him that he couldn't just leave his workplace, since he had been there for years and felt responsible for the company. I honestly don't understand this company loyalty stuff, especially if they pay you like crap, but maybe I'm too young to understand that. Anyway, he explained the situation and asked if the position was still available. My dad got started at his new job at $20 an hour, with a raise based on his performance and a sign-on bonus. Literally, just had to do a drug test, no interview, no nothing, and got hired on the spot. After 3 months, he got bumped to $25 an hour. I always worried about him overworking, but he kept reassuring me that it's a lot less on him even though he still works 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. He tells me a lot of times he's making house calls, so he gets to drive on company time, which relaxes him, and that the workload is a lot less for a lot more. I hope he's telling the truth for his own sake, but he does sound happier. They've even let him borrow the company's cars during winter while the roads are icy because my dad has this beat up 99 Toyota Camry that creaks and rumbles while running. And his manager said he doesn't want my dad risking his safety to drive to work. He told me today that they're making him do managerial duties now too. It's what he used to do before we moved to the US, so it's really easy to him. And that as compensation, they're giving him 25% more what he was getting before. I'm so happy for him and very proud of him. I'm glad he's not overworking himself and left behind that crappy company. They've tried reaching out to him to match what the new job was giving him 4 times, but he's declined every time. They even said they'll give him a sign-on bonus. Obviously, he declined. F around and find out, I guess. If you're really going to threaten your most hardworking employee with the "if you don't like it, leave it," then you should be ready to accept the consequences. No, you don't deserve any 2 weeks notice. No, you don't deserve any more of his labor. My dad deserves everything though, and I just want to share his story because I love him so much and am so proud of him. Wow, it's absolutely illegal to take any damages from a worker's check, even if that damage was caused by that actual worker. I mean, you can fire them, but you can't charge them for the damage done. That's why you have insurance. It's the exact same thing if you work in a gas station where somebody drives off without paying, or in a retail store and somebody steals something while on your shift. You just legally cannot have it deducted from your pay, and if you have, you need to talk to somebody about it. OP, there's a lot of people in the comments for this story that are really proud of your dad for what he did. I know it's a couple days late, but I hope you can pass on a happy Father's Day from the whole KCC community. Do me a quick favor and take a look down below the video. If that subscribe button's still red, it means you're actually not subscribed to the KCC channel. Please hit that subscribe button for more daily Reddit stories. This next story comes to us from Ultra Superman 1001. Stop resetting my password. Let's jump right in. I'm in a senior role at a service desk, and like everywhere else, if we see a ticket come in that has already been done or is a duplicate request, we just cancel the tickets and move on with our day. Well, we have this one user who is a vice president, and they are the type of person who thinks the world revolves around them. So they would be the person to send in a ticket, then 5 minutes later send another ticket, and so on until there's like a dozen tickets in the system. Well, a few weeks ago, we introduced a new password policy, 18 characters, etc., with an additional policy that makes you change your password after a reset, and you can't use a password you used before. And this was a big change, considering our previous policy was no requirements. Most users figured it out pretty good, and even the VP. Now, this is where the malicious compliance comes in. With that new password policy, it was also introduced that all tickets must be actioned before resolving them, and you can guess who brought this change in. So the VP went on vacation for a bit, then came back and forgot their password. And like normal, they would send in a dozen or more tickets. Now, in the 5 minutes or so between their tickets, we would get 1 to 5 other tickets come in, and it takes about 10 minutes to go through those. So my team and I went through every ticket like we are told to do, and we were counting the number of times we reset the VP password, because we knew this was going to come back on us. So lo and behold, in the span of about an hour, we reset their password 11 times. This is when our manager comes in and says, "I just got an email from the VP and they say you keep resetting their password." My manager is a good guy, and I remind him of the new ticket policy. He chuckles and heads back to his office, and he forwards us an email with the subject, "Stop resetting my password." In the email, it says they had to change their password 12 times, and they are running out of passwords they can think of, and to stop resetting their password. I reply all to the email and say, due to a new policy of tickets where we have to action each one before resolving it, we had to reset your password a number of times. No less than an hour later, our department gets an email from the president that says, "We have reviewed one of your new ticket policies and believe this to not be the best use of your time, so we're going to ask you to recant this policy." Needless to say, we stopped the policy because it was dumb from the start. And surprisingly, the VP actually started sending fewer and fewer tickets. 18 characters in a password. I'm still hung up on that part of the story because how the heck would you remember 18 characters in a password? Especially when you can't use previous passwords or derivatives thereof. I'm willing to bet if you walked around OP's office, you'd find at least a couple of sticky notes, maybe a couple of notebooks that have these passwords written down on them, sitting out in the open on the people's desk while they're not there. Talk about great security. Another thing that kind of made me go on this one was that an admin was actually sending in tickets to get something done. From my experience in tech support, that's usually an angry phone call from that admin saying it needs to be done now. This next story comes to us from Frank Sarno. Customer won't pay, management won't help. Let's jump right in. This is sort of malicious compliance, but was really just me doing my job. In the 90s, I used to work for a delivery company. For some customers, we provided a PC and software to print out labels and upload package information by modem. The contract required that the customer provide a phone line and uploaded the manifest daily so that they could be billed. One customer kept on unplugging or disabling the modem. This meant that every day dozens of his packages would be picked up and delivered over the next 2 days, but because the modem was disconnected, he wasn't getting billed. A trouble ticket was sent to me and I went for a site visit to diagnose the issue. The customer was nice at first and said there was nothing wrong. But as soon as I reconnected the modem and started the upload, in the 90s, so there was a screeching of the modem, he immediately got angry and started cursing me out and telling me that I was rude and disrupting his business. I left. He called his sales rep and made up a bunch of lies about me being combative. The sales rep was cowardly and didn't want to upset this customer, so did nothing. He's supposed to speak with the customer to remind of the contract requirements. A week later, the ticket again hits my queue. I go out there. The customer is still pretty rude, but I tell him that I have to do the maintenance. He informs that he has to use the phone line right then for an emergency. Contractually, the line had to be dedicated to the shipping computer. He tells me to leave. I do. This goes on for almost 3 months with me getting the ticket, customer having some excuse why I can't use the modem, then telling me to leave. I have to visit the customer each time I get the ticket in my queue. The inevitable ticket comes in. Okay, no problem. While he's watching me like a hawk, I go to a secondary process and download the manifest to a floppy. We almost never do this, so the customer was unfamiliar with this other method. I'm super friendly, don't ever connect the modem, and go about the routine cleanup. I leave. An hour later, I upload the manifest from my workstation to billing. 2 days later, the sales guy is really worried. What happened? I uploaded the customer manifest. It's in the procedure manual for what to do when the modem is unavailable. Because of the huge delinquency, several months, close to $15,000,